we're going to test out Make.com's new AI agent. So let's jump right in. So this is newly released, and this is a new agent that they've created inside Make.com. And it's got a few functions which are really useful for us. We can firstly select the model that we would like to use, and we can use Anthropic's models, OpenAI's models, Gemini's models. So we have a whole variety of models that we can use. We can provide it with specific instructions. So this is like the system instructions for the agent, what it's actually going to do, what tools it's got access to, etc. We can add knowledge. I quite like this. Context is so important for the AI agent to be able to do a good job. And so we can actually upload a specific file about who we are or our organization and provide that to this agent so it really understands the story behind why it's doing this task, who it's doing for, how it should be completing that. We can see that we can actually produce PDF. We can add doc files there as well. I'd be interested to see if we can actually add markdown files. That's something we need to explore. We can then provide it with a range of tools. So in this example, they've given AI web search. You can add pretty much any Make.com automation module in there as well. A lot of the functionality is going to be about letting the AI agent decide. So really an agent has autonomy in deciding how it completes a task. And so often with these setups, we're going to be allowing the agent to actually set that up. So we've got that functionality there. We can test it in a chat module before actually going live, see what it's thinking, what tools it's using. We've got a JSON output there, final summary. So let's jump right in. All right, so I've set this little one up. I haven't really tested it. We're going to test it live, see how it goes. So I've got a Slack channel when a public message is received. I've just got a filter here that just ensuring that it's not the AI agent's response. Now, this is really important. If you're creating automations in a Slack channel, either have an input and an output channel or have a filter that actually checks that it's not the AI agent's output that then triggers the next input. Otherwise, you have an endless loop, which is just going to cost you a lot of credit and a lot of money. Next, we have the actual AI agent. And as you can see, you can hover over the little plus sign at the bottom. We can attach some type of knowledge files about who we are or our organization. We can add tools, which looks like pretty much any of the integrations that we already have in Make.com, which is pretty powerful. And then we have this chat function, which brings up a little test chat on the side. And then I've got an output here to just send that message back to Slack. I've added 3 tools: search emails, AI web search, and Gmail create a draft. So let's check it out. So I'm going to open up Slack here, and I'm just going to provide a message. I'm going to say, what is the weather in Sydney, Australia today? Okay, so this we're going to be hopefully seeing that it uses the AI web search, because otherwise it's definitely going to be hallucinating that. But it looks like we have AI web search running over there. And it's got a response. We can always click on that number 1 and see the output. And we've got Sydney, Australia today, February 15th. It's actually February 16th in Australia. So that's pretty interesting. So we got the weather, but it's for yesterday. So I'm wondering if that is because the Make server is in the US. So this is something to kind of consider. And you know, a lot of these agent builds, you really need to test the stuff out and figure these like little edge cases, because this is where it can really make a big difference. We can see it says, you know, Sydney, Australia today, but that's not today's date. So I'd have to figure out a way to overcome that. All right, now you're going to see if I run this, it's going to actually not pass through that trigger, because the next output that was received over here from myself as well was just from the AI agents. There's ways to overcome this. You can have a bot that replies or a different user as well, but I've just got a test Slack that I'm set up here. All right, let's do a next one. Let's see, what was the latest email I received today? Okay, so it was a test email I just sent myself. It was a made-up email about a wildlife sanctuary. And let's see. Okay, so it is running that tool to actually search that email. Looks like it's found that email, processing, and sent a message back to Slack. Okay, so here we go. Based on your emails, the latest one you received, interview request, coastal wildlife rescue storm response. As I said, this is just a made-up email that I sent myself. Interview request from Channel 8 News. All right, perfect. Now, let's see if it can actually help draft a reply to this. This is a little bit more advanced. Please draft a reply to Olivia and say, thank you so much for your request. I'm currently out, but I will get back to you in the next hour. Now, it's not actually going to have memory. There's no memory function here. So this is going to be interesting if it's actually going to first search that email. No, it is just replied. It is said, I'd be happy to help draft you an email reply. However, I need her email address to create a draft. Could you please provide Olivia's email address? Okay, so I'm going to say that it was the last email that we received. It was the latest email that I received today. Let's see if it can find it. So I think this is one of the things that is definitely missing, is that there is no memory function. So each chat acts in a silo. It acts like a new chat. So it even asked me, like, I'll draft the email, but who is Olivia? Even though in our chat, we actually had that. So maybe one way to do that would be to actually add access to Slack messages as a way to retrieve memory, and then add that to the system instruction. All right, I found your email today. Based on the content, it looks like you're referring to the email from Emma. Okay, so no, that's definitely incorrect. So yeah, I mean, interesting, really interesting. I think it's going to continuously evolve. All of these tools do just continuously get better, but I think it's a good starting point. I love the knowledge. I think that's really valuable. The tool capabilities, as you could see, we could add so many of the different tools, including some of their new AI apps that Make is just releasing, which is the AI web search that I included in there. But I think the biggest limitation definitely is that memory, because an agent really needs memory to be able to kind of complete continued tasks. If it provides you with feedback and then you answer that query, you're going to have to provide everything all over again to get that done. So we saw that in the draft and email. That really didn't work out. But the idea was to test this and see where we're at. And it's always worth exploring and trying these things out. So if you have created a Make.com AI agent, I'd love to hear what you have used it for. And I'm really excited to dig deeper into this and see more ways we can leverage these agents in our workflows. As always, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.